Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it's time for a Chelsea review and City preview. I wanted to get a video out before tonight's game, which I will be doing a watch-along for, by the way. Please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment, and get your notification bell smashed. I hope you haven't missed me too much. I know I've missed you guys. I've had a lovely little stay away in Paris. I did manage to watch the game, though. I was allowed to watch the game. However, I was unable to do a review because we were seeing the sights. You know, we went to see Eiffel Tower under the lights and all that jazz. So I didn't manage to do a review. I don't think I'd have been in the mood to do a review anyway, because as you guys know, Chelsea beat us with a contentious last-minute penalty. And we lost the game 3-2, which we thoroughly deserved something from. And it was really, really disappointing. You know, going there and putting in a performance, you could argue we've seen more Beelzebub in that fixture than we've seen all season, really, especially the goal for Gelhardt, which Mateusz Klich was heavily involved in. And I'm going to shout out my boy Mateusz Klich because, as a lot of you will have been aware, he's been receiving some online abuse. Look, have your opinion on a player. You can even voice that opinion, but don't be atting them, because then I mean, some of the stuff that was said, get out of the club and all that. People have short-term memories. And I know not a lot of people like to say that. There's no sentiment in football and all that sort of stuff. But for me personally, there is. You know how I am. I'm an emotional guy. And I do feel strongly about that sort of stuff. You know, I back the players, you know, rightly. If they've had a poor performance, I will say so. But I don't think we need to be giving no dogs abuse to players that have had a massive impact at this football club. You know, you don't get a chance sung on the terraces if you're a bad footballer at Leeds United. You know, Mateusz Klich, admittedly, when we started singing the 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, you know, he stopped scoring goals. But let's not forget what this individual has done for us. He said he would make an impact at this football club when he was initially sent out on loan. He did do that. He came back and has been a mainstay in Bielsa's side. Look, next season, will he be? Maybe not. We've already seen shades of him being on the bench a lot more than we've seen in previous seasons this time. That's fine, but don't be giving no players dogs abuse. That's just my own personal opinion on it. I think he's been a great servant to this football club, and the fact that he had to delete Twitter, and you know what's more frustrating? It's not even coming from outside of the football club. You're having to see Poland, yes, his national side, having to come out and tweet in support of Klich. And I just seen that and I thought, this is atrocious, you know. And the reason I say that is because it's coming from his own fans. Players, you know, he's put a lot in for this football club. And for me, like, I'm assuming anyway, not a lot of these people go to Ellen Road. You know, they may do, who were one of them that added him, you know, they may go to Ellen Road. I might be totally wrong, but there's no place in the game or at Leeds United for that sort of stuff. And I've seen such a great response to Mateusz Klich having to delete his Twitter in the way that he's come out in support. And listen, I'm calling it right now. If he plays against City, he's going to have a barnstormer. If he comes off the bench, he's going to have a barnstormer. And let's be honest, bar the mistake, and it was a mistake. I know there's not a lot of people saying it's a penalty and it's soft. I get all that. But for me, when I was watching the game in Paris, it was a penalty. Like, he had no need to kick through in real time. When you slow it down, it looks even softer, and it is soft. I'm not disputing that fact, right? And maybe if it's at the other end of the pitch, we don't get it. Who can forget Paveda against Chelsea last season when he didn't go down and he didn't get it? Had he have gone down, maybe he would. But what I'm saying is he shouldn't have kicked through Rudiger. There was no need to kick through Rudiger. He was going nowhere. He's a centre-back. Okay, he's normally all right for a goal, he's Rudiger, and I do rate him. I think he's so underrated. I think he's a great centre-back. Obviously, my feelings towards him have soured quite a bit, naturally. But you know, he was going nowhere. He wasn't going to do anything from that position. And it did cost us the game. But let's be honest, 3 errors cost us the game. Meslier throwing it out to Dallas, gets dispossessed by Alonso. You know, it gets crossed in and Mount makes it one apiece at that point. Obviously, Rafinha, again, cold as ice. We get a penalty from a foul on Dan James, which was a definite penalty. Him using his pace to get there ahead of Alonso. Rafinha slots it in. You know, what I will say for the travelling support as well, the noise was palpable. Like, big shout out for all those that went, you know, just overshadowed that Stamford Bridge support, you know. Obviously, Mount makes it one apiece, and then obviously Jorginho gets a penalty for a challenge by Rafinha. Again, it's an error. He doesn't need to make the challenge and at least go in the manner that he did. You know, some will say, okay, he got the ball, but yeah, it was reckless. No need to make that challenge for me. Obviously, Jorginho has a great record. Not more recently, but he does have a fantastic record in terms of taking penalties. I think Rafinha's sort of took on that mantle as well with a little hop, skip, and a jump. But then, you know, and it took the shine off it a little bit. But Joffrey Gelhardt came off the bench, and what a goal that was. And that's why I spoke about earlier. Beelzebub ball has really seen it in fruition. You know, there was some great work in the middle of the park by Mateusz Klich. You know, it goes out to Roberts, to Firpo, back to Roberts. No, back to Klich, sorry, who then, you know, plays in Roberts. And it's a lovely ball. And Gelhardt has that striker instinct. He gets, you know, ahead of his man and puts it in the back of the net. And what a moment for him. What a moment for him. The youngest scorer in the Premier League for Leeds United since Jimmy Milner, of course. And what a goal it was. And at that point, you're thinking, wow, we could even go on and win this. Genuinely, it felt like we could go on and win it. Chelsea were cowering, I felt, you know. We at least deserved a point. And I thought when we'd scored that, we might actually go on and win this game. But what a moment for him and his family. And, you know, there'll be cries for him to start against City, and maybe he will. But for me, you know, Bielsa's managing perfectly. I'd like to see him start. Let me just say that. You know, but there'll be question marks if he doesn't. But we have to remember, Bielsa's managing him perfectly. He started against Spurs. He had a decent performance. Comes off against City. He gets us back into the game. He wins the penalty against Wolves. So every time he's played, he's had an impact. If you're putting all that pressure on him from minute one, maybe he doesn't have the similar sort of impact as when Bielsa's playing him. And when we look at City, our next game, and the way that Pep managed Foden, who can remember the calls for Foden? Got to get him in. He's managed him perfectly. And now Foden's one of the most influential players in that City team and one of the best players in the world. Do you know what I mean? So let's give time. If Bielsa feels it's right for him to start against City, then I'm all with it. But what I will say, I back Bielsa to manage this kid perfectly. And I know a lot of you would disagree with that. You know, oh, Roberts this, Roberts that, you know, Klich, etc. Why is he persisting? Square pegs, round holes. But we have to have faith in the man. We have to have faith in the man that's brought us to this point. We're now starting to see a better Leeds United, which is mad when you consider the absentees we've got. But for us to go to Chelsea and do what we did, I know we didn't win the game. It's huge. You know, he asked for hope, optimism, fortitude, and he got that. And I believe we'll get that against City. I genuinely believe we'll get that against City. It's not going to be no easy task. It's not going to be no easy task. Let's not forget that, you know. They've won the last 6 matches. They've kept a clean sheet in 7 of their last 9 home Premier League matches. They're, you know, up there with Liverpool as the best teams in the league and in world football, you know, let's be honest. And Leeds United's record away from home this season hasn't been great. We've just won 1 of our last 6 away league outings. And we have one of the worst, you know, away records in the division this season. You know, what I will say, we didn't lose to them at all last season, 1-1 at Elland Road, and that was a fantastic game of football, one of the best last season, not just for Leeds United, but across the whole division. And of course, we beat them at the Etihad 2-1 with that Dallas last-minute winner, down to 10 men as well. And look, it was a feisty game against Chelsea, but we were producing some of that high-octane football that is synonymous with Bielsa's Leeds United, you know, that got us a 9th place finished. You know, we're starting to tick over, I believe. You know, Roberts has really grown game by game, looks better and better for me. I don't know, some of you may disagree, but for me, he's been getting better and better with every game. So I have no problem with him being in there because Leeds United are still stretched. You know, Cooper's out. Calvin's out, Rodrigo's out, Strout's out, you know, the Bamford's out, all these players are out. So it will be, for me, probably the same lineup. Maybe Gelhardt will start. I don't know. But, you know, I believe that we will give them a go, you know. If you look at our games against the current top 3 sides since promotion, you know, we've netted twice or more on 3 separate occasions. Admittedly, only winning 1 of them, you know, and that was at the Etihad, down to 10 men. But we have always give the top sides a game of football. Okay, Liverpool this season at Elland Road, maybe not so much. But we weren't great then. I feel like we're starting to tick over, and it's going to be tough. but why not have that same optimism, that hope, that fortitude that he also spoke about prior to Chelsea? And look how that game went, you know? Look how that game went. And, you know, 5 of Leeds' last 7 Premier League away defeats have seen the decider arrive in the second half. You know, so I've seen a lot of comments saying, oh, it'll be done by half time. It'll be this, it'll be that. I don't go along with that. I don't go along with that. We will be in this game. You know, we will be in this game. I think because these sides have better technical ability, better, you know, better all over the park than us, you know, they will come and bring their game. And that at times allows us to bring our game, you know. It's mano a mano, you know. We go gun for gun, shot for shot. You know, some of the teams that we come up against will sit in, you know, they'll have a certain tactic that we struggle to break down, you know. But this game's just going to be mano a mano, Bielsa, Pep, let's go. Let's see what it's about, you know. And I think that gives us an opportunity. It really does give us an opportunity. I think we'll see the same lineup, guys, that we've seen against Chelsea. I think Gelhardt, I'm not sure he'll start, just because I believe Bielsa's managing the right way. He could do, though. Maybe he will, with Roberts in behind, Rafinha off the right, James on the left. You know, Harrison maybe drop out. Could we see Shackleton back in midfield again, although he got substituted, didn't he? So maybe it might not be the same lineup. You know, Ayling at centre-back, Dallas at right-back, or him and Jamie Shackleton interchange, and we sort of seen a 4-3-3, if I remember rightly, against Chelsea. So, you know, he probably will match them up, and we got joy going with that tactical lineup against Chelsea. So maybe we'll see more of the same. You know, let's go through the City lineup. Obviously, Edison in goal. You'll probably have a centre-back of Diaz and Laporte. You've got, I think, Cancelo's suspended and out, which is huge because Cancelo's one of the best fullbacks in world football, can play either side. So will it be Walker and Zinchenko? A midfield three, I think Gundogan's a doubt. So you might see Rodri, who, again, one of the best DMs in the league, with Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne at either side. Look, Bernardo Silva's been one of the standout players in the Premier League. If it weren't for Salah, he'd probably be up there with Rafinha. Them two tussling for the best player this season. That's just my personal opinion. But Salah's streets ahead of everyone. But Silva's been involved so much this season. So he's going to be so tough to come up against, especially when you consider we have a depleted squad. And then the front three, you know, it could be Mahrez, Jesus, Foden in the false nine. Will he start Sterling? Obviously, Sterling got that penalty at the weekend for them. Whoever City play, they will be very, very strong. And it's going to be very tough for Leeds United. But listen, I predicted 2-1 against Chelsea. It didn't come in, but we were in the game. You know, I predicted 2-1 last season against City. And we won that game, and we won 2-1. But this one's going to be very tough. Very, very tough, because City are on a totally different stratosphere, and we're depleted. But hope, fortitude, optimism, all that jazz. Why not get something? Why not get something? So I'm gonna do it again, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And I will be doing a watch along of the game. So if I get my prediction wrong, any City fans watching this can batter me for it, can't they? But let's do it. We're going to get a win out of one of these four. I said it, though, right? I thought we'd get a point against Chelsea. I said Arsenal was the one where you win, you know, City, Liverpool sort of right off. But we didn't get that point against Chelsea that we deserve. We need to pick up a point. You know, I still think we're in a comfortable position in the league, because the teams below us, apart from that Burnley, they've got a game in hand. We're all right. We're all right, you know. The teams aren't winning. Come through this patch, even though we've got Villa. Villa's going to be a tough game. But listen, we'll start to get points on the board. If we can get anything in these games, I think we beat Arsenal, to be honest, at the weekend. They do at home, and I hope I'm right. But let's take a big scalp. Let's take a big scalp. We showed the footballing world that Leeds United are not dead and buried against Chelsea. We gave them a real game, and we'll do the same tonight. We may just come up short, but why not go out and win it, you know? Hope, optimism, fortitude. I'm going Leeds United 2-1. Make sure you join me for the watch along. Smash a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in, and I'll see you all in a bit. Peace out. Leeds.